Welcome to another session of Do Your Homework. Now, this is going to be an interesting, controversial topic for sure, because some people have been indoctrinated to the point when they hear the truth about individuals that they may admire, it is very difficult to accept. So I'm going to go right on into it. The topic of the day is, who is Thomas Woodrow Wilson? Besides being a racist, a segregationist, a white nationalist, Thomas Woodrow Wilson was the 28th president of the United States who opposed Reconstruction. That was a time where they were trying to allow so-called blacks to, be able to do for themselves. So by Thomas Woodrow Wilson being a segregationist from the South, a known supporter of the Confederacy, when he got into office, he promoted and excited segregation. And what happened was a lot of so-called blacks lost their jobs, they was dismissed, and they were eventually unemployed from the federal government on Mr. Wilson's watch. Also, on this man's watch, the Federal Reserve was created. That's a central banking system that actually owns the currencies that we use today in our daily operation. The United States does not own the money that we utilize. If you read it, you think it's a dollar bill, but it tells you plain and simple, a Federal Reserve note, who is owned by the Federal Reserve. Now, a little history on that. Thomas Jefferson, the second president of the United States. A lot of people are not in favor with him, but he did oppose a central banking system because he knew that the possibility and the power that a central banking system will have over this country. But 28th president Wilson came in and he disregarded all that, and now some of the financial situations that the country, the debt and all that stuff is the debt to the Federal Reserve. But moving forward, as Mr. Thomas Woodrow Wilson is held as a hero in a lot of people's eyes because they've been indoctrinated. But the other side of it is that he was a despicable man. He was actually a human devil who, in one sense, he was very, very highly in favor of the suppression and the separation of the so-called races or the cultures. He had known to tell darky jokes in the White House. And darky jokes are referred to slanders against so-called African blacks Americans, so-called black Americans. So this man has a lot of things that was going on with him. And let me check my little playbook. Okay. Now, also, one of the despicable things that the 28th president did and actually promoted, but then tried to separate itself from it, The Birth of a Nation. The Birth of a Nation was a film that was promoted by a white nationalist Ku Klux Klan member that identified so-called blacks as, in this despicable view that, it was thieves, wanted to rape the white woman, so forth and so on. But the whole thing is that these European, Caucasian, so-called white Americans, all their hatred that they had for the so-called blacks during this time in this administration and before that was a reflection of their own behavior. I spoke about the reflection thing before. The raping that they accused the blacks of doing, the Birth of a Nation, they had already done it. The stealing, they accused the blacks of. All the deplorable things that European, Caucasian, so-called white Americans accused so-called blacks of doing, they were actually the originators. They were the example to so-called blacks. So when we get this white nationalist from the South, he was from Virginia, but Virginia is in the South. A lot of people don't realize that. Right under the Mason-Dixon line, he was a segregationist, a supporter of the Confederate agendas, so forth and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, I just bring you this information because I was riding past Wilson's high school. And when I was younger, that was a school that was looked upon as a, one of those schools in Washington, D.C. was recognized. And a lot of different people went over there. It was in the segregated side of town, over there in the Georgetown, Bethesda kind of area, right off that borderline there. But that side of town was segregated in a big sense. Now, so-called blacks did go there. They were scrutinized in the earlier times. But that name Wilson, Thomas Woodrow Wilson, should be stricken from the records because of this devilish behavior that this man has promoted. Yeah, he say that he kept the United States out of World War One, and they got some things that is accommodated. That is associated with him. He was a scholar. He was from Princeton University. He did a lot of things positive. But the things that he did negative and went to his grave without repenting or asking the people forgiveness is unacceptable. But it's American heroes. If you actually look at it from the past, most of them were despicable human beings. Racist, segregationists, white nationalists, wicked men. And that's just the truth of the matter. Some people don't like the truth. That's what my man Ali Bobby told me from back in the days. He said, "Mom, they just want you to tell them lies. They love lies." But you know what? The people is waking up. We tired of those United Snakes lies. We want the truth because we know that the truth is what's going to set us free and allow us to move to the next level. And the truth will actually cure the European Brotherhood or the Caucasian or the whites that have been affected by the lies of their forefathers. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you this message in love. I leave you this message in peace. Remember to do your homework. Anything that I ever bring, research it, cross-examine it, you find out this is incorrect, bring it to me and give me the information so I can go do some research and come to a conclusion that may be different than what I have right now. But right now, I'm standing on it. The 28th president, Thomas Woodrow Wilson, was a wicked human devil, a despicable man, a segregationist, and a racist. Peace, love, and goodwill. And remember, truth is necessary for us to move on to the next level.